So, a question that a lot of Oklahoma Sooners fans have on their mind during the 2024 cycle is, will David Stone be at the University of Oklahoma? And, well, today, as I am recording this, it is currently Friday, and David Stone got a future cast by a random just guy, I guess, a random publisher for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And kind of want to talk about it. Kind of want to gather y'all's thoughts and see what you think. Will David Stone be an Oklahoma Sooner? But before we dive into it, please go ahead and hit that like and the subscribe button. Let me know what you all are thinking down in the comments below. Do you think the 6'4", 278-pound defensive lineman currently at IMG Academy, but from Oklahoma City, will end up at Oklahoma? Or will he end up at a school like Michigan State or Oregon? Or I guess now even the Ohio State Buckeyes? Well, let's talk about it because I know it's kind of a joke, but listen, we're in May, and right now, this is the topic of conversations when it comes to recruiting. So, a guy named David Berry, some guy, said Ohio State is a sneaky contender here. Submitted his future cast on May 11th at 2:04 p.m. And of course, immediately, Oklahoma fans, y'all took to Twitter. Who is this guy? What does he know? There's no way this is real. Y'all have seen Parker talk about it, but it's interesting because I actually kind of like how Rivals allows the fans to be able to submit future casts, kind of like what the Crystal Ball format is over at 247. So you've got it from a publisher standpoint, which would be your Brandon Drums, your Parker Thunes of the world. Then you got your fans. 64.8% of the people believe David Stone will be in an Oklahoma uniform. 8.6 believe Michigan State. 5.2 believe Georgia Tech. And you might say, why Georgia Tech? Well, guess what? The defensive line guy at Michigan State is now at Georgia Tech. Texas A&M, 4.1%, Baylor, 2.1%, Georgia, 2.1%, Texas, 2.1%, and then from there on, it just goes down to 1.4%. But Ohio State only has one analyst and one fan predicting him to end up with the Buckeyes at a 0.7% chance. And so you've got to ask yourself, where in the world did this come from? Because you feel like this came out of left field. And I'm not going to lie. Sometimes you might have to take into consideration some of these random future casts or random crystal balls. Because, I mean, unless they're just trying to drum up fan engagement, does it hurt them to submit these future casts and crystal balls in favor of a school that's not actually going to win the player? Do they actually know something? But I will say this. Personally, in my opinion, I think Todd Bates and Miguel Chavis are going to be able to inch this out. You've heard Brandon Drum over with Rivals talk about why David Stone is not committed to the University of Oklahoma. And I believe, as well as Brandon and Parker and potentially even Wilt Fong from 247, because Wilt Fong has his crystal balls in there. And listen, even though Parker and Brandon are over at Rivals now, we're still looking at 247 because I like 247's analysis of the players and where they have them ranked in terms of national rankings. And Wilt Fong's the best in the game. And Wilt Fong still believes he's going to be a Sooner, which means whatever problems are out there that's keeping David Stone from being a Sooner, I think Todd Bates is going to have a handle on that. He's going to be able to put some reassurance there so that David Stone is an Oklahoma Sooner. But you look at it and go LSU, Miami, Michigan State, Oregon, which I know a lot of people are going, hey, two of these schools sound like NIL schools. And then you got A&M, so maybe three. But you look at the elite competition that Oklahoma is in. I mean, Alabama's in there. Georgia's in there. If Oklahoma was able to come out on top of a recruitment for a top 10 player in the country, you would have to imagine, heads turn. People start asking the question, what's going on at Oklahoma? What's different there? Why would a guy as talented as David Stone, even though he's from Oklahoma, be at the University of Oklahoma? Maybe all of a sudden you get a guy like Edric Houston looking at Oklahoma a little bit harder, who ultimately could steer a buddy like KJ Bolden to Oklahoma. And then maybe other defensive line guys like 5-star Dominic McKinley comes to the University of Oklahoma. And maybe a top 5 player in the country like Williams Nwaneri says, yeah, I want to play with Stone. I want to help be that force on the defensive line and change the narrative of Oklahoma defensive football. And then, of course, you've got your non-5 stars. Nigel Smith, Joseph Jonah Ajonye, Zadavian Sims, who will be announcing his commitment on May 20th. And you've got guys like David Stone's friend, Jaden Jackson. And then you go look at the edge rushers. Well, it's pretty plentiful there for the Sooners too. You've got Jason Ross, Logan Thomas, Dekias Brinkley, Wyatt Gilmore. Like, it's all there. I think the Sooners are fine. And although you have random people out there, not me, because, I don't get crystal balls. And I can submit a fan future cast, but, that ain't me. Another random recruiter thinks that David Stone is going to be a Buckeye over the Sooners. And for Oklahoma fans, if you hear the Buckeyes in a recruitment, it's like Texas A&M. It's bad taste in your mouth because the Buckeyes just stole 2 players from you. James Peoples at the running back position and Peyton Pierce at the linebacker position here in this 2024 class. And so maybe the Ohio State Buckeyes causes a little bit more concern for Oklahoma fans when really in this recruitment, the Ohio State Buckeyes, they're not really there. So, guys, I encourage you, if you really want to know more about the David Stone recruitment, go over to Rivals. Go ahead and sign up. Follow Brandon and Parker because Brandon, it sounds like he's close with Stone. He knows that recruitment. He's going to be able to bring you the most up-to-date information. We're just reacting to what's going on. So, guys, go ahead, jump down in the comments below. Let me know what y'all's thoughts are. Where do you think David Stone, the 5-star elite, talented defensive lineman, plays his college career? Do you think he will commit to the University of Oklahoma, or do you think it's going to be somewhere else?